You are listening to KC Sports Network, the #1 podcast network for today's Kansas City sports fans. With former players from your favorite teams, informed perspectives, and former insiders, this is the place for you. You can find us wherever you listen to podcasts or on our YouTube channel, all over social media, or our morning newsletter, KCSN Daily, dedicated to your Kansas City Chiefs. KC Sports Network is proudly presented by Emprise Bank, your partner in possible.
What's up, Chiefs Kingdom? Welcome to this special live episode of Outside the Trenches. I'm BJ Kissel, joined by my pals Nick Leckey and Tucker Franklin. And this show is now sponsored by Five Farms Irish Cream, thanks to our friends up at Holiday Distillery in Western Missouri. We've got a lot of great products, but this is the one that is my personal favorite. And Tucker, we spend a lot of time. We talk a lot, and you know how much I actually enjoy the Five Farms Irish Cream.
It's true. It's very good. It's very delicious. It's great on its own. Great mixed in with other things, as any good liquor should be. Any good liquor should be good on its own and good with other things. Like Nick Leckey. He's good on his own, but he's also good with others.
That's so true, Tucker. I'm glad you said that instead of me, because it would have looked boastful.
I'm enjoying it with a little hot chocolate right now because it's
Oh, BJ, I think you lost your mic there. There we go.
Oh, there we go. We appreciate everybody for spending part of your day with us. Tucker, why don't you get this thing started with anybody who's been listening to the show knows that now it is set up as a blind nil.
So I'll go ahead get it started then. I'll get the party started. It's now blind nil, as BJ mentioned. And it was tasked with me to have the serious football topic. And I don't take that task very lightly. So I have a very good topic for you guys. The season's about to kick off. There's a lot of predictions, a lot of things being thrown around, being said by national media, local media, stuff like that. I think there's a receipts channel now added in the Discord, so where people can drop in tweets and just keep the receipts going. So I really like that. But this is what I want to ask you guys. It's February, right? So it's the end of the season. Chiefs just won the Super Bowl. We look back and say, man, that guy was really important to the Super Bowl run. We should have been talking about him earlier in the offseason. I want to know who that is. I want to know who you guys think should be getting more, maybe quote unquote hype right now, that maybe deserves a little bit more, and that you think is almost like the most underrated player kind of going into the season.
Patrick Mahomes. I'm just kidding. It's a good one. I think I'd give two. Can we give one? I'm going to give one on the offensive side of the ball and one on the defense because I feel strongly about both these guys. Sorry, Nick, if I'm stealing one of your guys. Now I got my my mic set back up, so we appreciate you taking care of that, Tucker. But that's never happened before. But on the offensive side, I'm going to say Juju Smith-Schuster. And the reason why is I had my fantasy draft. I know a lot of people having their fantasy drafts over the last week.
Tell us about your team.
But I'm not going to tell you about it because nobody cares. But I do care about the fact that I looked up that Juju Smith-Schuster is projected for only 75 receptions and like 850 yards, which is crazy to me when you, in the same breath, you could say, I believe that Patrick Mahomes is going to throw for 4,500 to 5,000 yards. Travis Kelce gets at best like 1,500 of those. Who else is getting all of those yards? Juju is the next guy. And so even by default, he's going to have over 1,000 yards if he stays healthy. And we were talking about this. I was talking about it with Nate Taylor on KCSN Update, that people want to knock Juju for like recency bias and what has he done the last couple of years. And I was saying, like, I can throw a football better than Ben Roethlisberger did the last 2 years. And I'm not one to make boastful statements, but it was hard to watch Ben Roethlisberger play football over the last couple of years and the way he's throwing. So I don't think Juju's got necessarily the amount of respect that he's deserved. And if the Chiefs are going to make a run and win the Super Bowl, it's because the offense didn't take a step back in the way that some people have projected they will now that the offense doesn't have Tyreek Hill. And then real fast on the defensive side, to me, it's Juan Thornhill. It's another guy that is poised for a breakout year, contract years undefeated, as said by our late friend Therese Paylor always said it all the time. But I strongly believe that Juan Thornhill is primed for a huge season. We know he had the ball skills coming out, got banged up, had the knee injuries coming back. He's got everything set up for him to be the guy this year. Teammates, coaches are talking about his leadership and all of those intangibles, all those things. I'm excited to see what Juan Thornhill can do this year. And I think if they go and win a Super Bowl, it's because the back end of that defense that we've been talking about with a lot of new faces was gelled together and came together playing the schedule they do against the division with Devontae Adams, Russell Wilson, Justin Herbert. Those defensive backs are going to have to play well. If the Chiefs play well enough to win, it's because Juan Thornhill and those guys got together and did their jobs well enough for them to go make a run.
You know, it's funny you say that, BJ, because I love the Justin Reed signing. Like, I think it's such a great move for a veteran, and just to kind of guide. I thought it was a move to guide Juan as well too, as far as, you know, here's how you proceed to the next level. You know, you're getting out of that sort of rookie-ish, new guy-ish sort of phase, right? And you're asked to step up and be a team leader, right? And Justin Reed might be here for a couple of years, but he's going to impart that wisdom on him, right? And they're building a new culture, because this is a new team, this is a new season, and it's one of those things where I was in Dallas, where I believe it was Roy Williams had I think it was Darren Woodson, I forget his name, but he really helped him out. And once Darren Woodson left, right, it was kind of like things kind of fell apart, because you need that sort of veteran, young sort of partnership in the back four, especially with the secondary. So yeah, so I liked the Justin Reed one. I really did. To me, I think that was one of those ones where when this defense come together, be from quiet leaders who know that they're the leaders and maybe the captains, right? So, you know, one of those things too. And I think that really sets the tone, because you can run the ball you want, but if you can't pass the ball, you know, you're going to win games like that if your defense is like that.
Yeah. I like those a lot. The big guy that I was kind of thinking of, got to bring this comment up from Chase Tyrell Washington here on the Facebook. Thank you for watching. Jody Fortson and Willie Gay.
Both guys,
couldn't go with Jody High Roller with old Red Zone
Riff
Jody.
Raff.
Couldn't do it again. The guy I think that we're going to be looking at and saying, okay, how come we haven't really been talking about him a whole lot? I think it's Nicole Hartman. I think Nicole Hartman is primed for a big breakout year. Another guy, when you talk about that contract year, being undefeated, he could really determine, you know, if he gets another contract from the Chiefs or from another team again, you know. So this could really determine, you know, how he plays. And I think on the defensive side of the ball, if we're talking about that defensive side of the ball, it's going to be, I think, a guy on the defensive line. I think it's Colin Saunders, honestly, who could be a really unsung, underrated guy who, if he comes in and he plays really well on the snaps he gets an increased snap count, I like what he can do.
I love that. I mean, he's got to take the interior D-line play. It's awesome. You know, I think back to me, when you look at like Jody Fortson, I think the thing that did it for me was I saw the clips, and I know it's practice, but I love the clips of him running through the defense. Because, you know, it shows you're not scared to play football. And I think that translates heavily, where if you're willing to sort of beat up on your own teammates, you're definitely ready to beat up on opposing players. And I don't mean that like he wasn't beaten up, but I'm saying just doing stuff like that.
Right.
I love when any sort of back or receiver gets the ball and they run with confidence. You know, there's something to be said. And I think that's the big thing with Nicole Hartman this season, is he glimpsed it last season, is, you know, running with confidence. And so, yeah, he could have a good one too, where it's like, okay, this is it, man. You know, your dogs are on a roll, right? Now it's time for you to roll with that, to bring that Georgia energy into Arrowhead.
Yeah, I think I don't know. There's something about Nicole Hartman this year that I think can be really valuable, especially when you start to look at the receiving corps as a whole. A lot of other attention going elsewhere. Obviously, Travis Kelce, MVS, Juju Smith-Schuster, all those guys. And it's like, you know, Nicole isn't, I don't want to say is getting disrespected. He's coming off one of his best years as a statistical years with the Kansas City Chiefs. And I think that this year could be a year where production is at an all-time high for him. I think that's one that could be really important for this Chiefs offense. Like I mentioned last week with Clyde, I think Clyde's another one of those guys that if he gets it going, it's going to be a good year for the Chiefs.
If they can commit to the run, right?
Right.
But the Chiefs don't have to. But maybe they will this year, right? You got to start, you know, thinking Mahomes long term. You don't think it's
People
not
have
going
been
to
saying that
happen?
about Andy Reid. People have been saying that about Andy
So
Reid his
true.
entire career. Like
That's
it's
so
not
true.
going to happen.
That's-
Brian
I
Westbrook was saying
wanted
that.
to say.
Sean McCoy was saying that. Like it's always been a thing.
You'd think former O-lineman would like to run it, right?
That's a good point. Well, he was an O-line coach, wasn't he, before he became a head coach?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. At the time that Andy Reid got that job in Philly, he was the first coach to be hired as a head coach in like more than a decade that had never been a coordinator. He was never an offensive coordinator. He went straight from quarterbacks coach, O-line coach, tight ends coach, what he did in Green Bay, straight to being a head coach.
But it makes
Pretty
sense.
crazy when you think about it.
Yeah,
I mean,
you don't see that a lot now.
If you're like, I mean, wide receiver coach, sure, you got 3 guys out there, maybe 4 guys out there. But I mean, O-line, you're managing 5 guys and, throwing in a tight end. So, I mean, it's almost like you're a coordinator with the amount of people you got to watch and the schemes and the concepts. I mean, it's an entity in itself. The
tight ends, I remember hearing stories about how the tight ends just hated when he was the tight ends coach because he worked so much that he put so much time in. He made those guys do everything. There's only like 3 of them on the team. So like those 3 guys, you couldn't.
Damn it.
You weren't there. It was very obvious that you were not there.
That's right.
DB room, there's like 10 of those dudes. Offensive line, there's 9, 10 guys in a room. The tight ends, there's like 3 of those guys and a coach.
Before we fully move on, I want to bring this comment up from W Yoder 05. Does McCole get a Pro Bowl invite? I think that's tough just because of how many good wide receivers that there are in the AFC. Pro Bowl's tough with like voting and everything like that, especially with like fan voting and how it's determined. It's kind of wonky, but especially with as many bigger names than him in the AFC, I think that's tough. But I think there's probably a line for this on our friends at DraftKings. They probably got a line on Nicole Hartman Pro Bowl invite. And guess what? The wait is over for DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app. And it's officially live in the state of Kansas just in time for football season. That means betting legally on same-game parlays, spreads, money lines, and more anytime and anywhere across the Sunflower State. To celebrate, DraftKings is giving new Kansas customers a can't-miss offer. You bet just $5 on anything and get $200 in free bets instantly. Thursday night is almost here. Want more action for early night kickoff? Everyone can experience the thrill of DraftKings early win promotion. You get up 7 and you win. Bet on any pro football team of your choice, and if your team leads by 7 points at any point during the game, you get paid instantly, even if your team loses. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code KCSN to get $200 in free bets instantly when you place a $5 bet on anything. That's code KCSN only at DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 800-522-4700. Must be 21 years or older. Physically present in Kansas. Eligibility restrictions apply. Bonus issued as free bets. 1 early win token issued at opt-in. Moneyline bets only. Deposit and wagering restrictions apply. Eligibility in terms at DraftKings.com/Kansas on behalf of Boot Hill Resort and Casino.
Good stuff, Tucker. And before we move on to Nick's segment, I want to bring on this comment from Kyle Coffey asking, outside of Murray, who is the scariest Cardinal that KC will have to worry about? No D-Hop. Watt is old. Still can still be a problem. And then Connor is a red zone focused running back. To me, it's always going to be the guy who can score a touchdown if you make one guy miss. And that's Marquis Brown. Their speedster receiver. That guy's got the ability. If they let him get outside his rush lane, him being Kyler Murray, he gets outside the pocket. Somebody breaks down. He's got a little extra time. DB loses him on the back. Marquis Brown's fast enough to run past everybody. And so those are the only things you worry about with those big plays. It's a lot harder, obviously, to methodically go down the field. Matriculating that ball down the field to score touchdowns. So we always worry about the guys that could do it on one play. So that's my answer right there for most dangerous player. But Nick, this has been your baby since we started doing podcasting like 5 years ago with this blind nil. And again, everybody who's might be new to this show. We all bring a different topic or a different segment to the show that the other two do not know about. And so we're all kind of having a fun conversation like you would in a bar with your buddies. And that's what Outside the Trenches has now become as part of KC Sports Network on this show. We want all the shows to be a little bit different, and we get to be the ones that have a little bit more fun, a little bit more laid back in conversational style.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Nick, what do we got? What's your blind nil segment for us today?
I've been a good boy, haven't I? gentlemen. I've been a really good boy, and we've done football stuff. And this is the perfect episode that we're kind of tweener, right? We're not playing the coveted Thursday night spot this week, so we got the normal Sunday game. So this is still sort of like we made the team. It's after 4 o'clock. We can joke around, right? We're here for the first week. That being said, what is your greatest weird achievement in your life? So you can't say like I won this or I did that or I had kids or I arranged my pennants, perfectly on my boosters. I mean, what is like the weird achievement? How is that not permitted?
I thought it was funny.
This is a hard one to surprise people on.
It is.
Yeah, it is. Well, that's because it's so good. Because I know. I almost want to hear it too. I want to hear you sort of like in your head, sort of like give us like a bullet list and like how you're thinking. Like that's what I want to hear. I mean, it's just your weird achievement. Something in your life that was like, okay, this is maybe you didn't know this about me, type thing, or that's what I like to do.
Well, different style of weird, because I know what you mean by weird is like you want weird, goofy, funny.
No,
I think
I don't. Don't pigeonhole.
Right, well, one of them is completely self-serving. One of the things I'm most proud of in my life, but it comes with a lot of disclaimers.
You can't say it.
I can. It's just I get to explain.
I'm kidding.
It's our podcast. I can explain. It's all point of the podcast.
Do what I want. I can do what I want.
No, the one at first, I think it was, and I'm gonna mix up all the years. I think it was like 8th grade. I finished like 3rd in the state bowling championship.
What?
Yeah, I lost. The dude who won, I'll never forget. He had like that 80s haircut where his name was Bo. And he might be listening to the show somewhere. If so, man, you were a sick bowler back then. But like he had the hair like shaved up and it was long on the sides and all parted over to one side. Like the brother in Wedding Crashers.
Wow.
But Todd, I think it was Todd had that like kind of haircut. But
Todd.
His name was Bo. He was left-handed and he bowled like a 250.
Holy smokes. In what grade? 8th grade?
I think it was like 8th grade.
Did Todd, no, I'm kidding. Did Bo play? Did Bo play football? And if Bo could play football in 8th grade, what position would he be playing in 8th grade? Like nose guard? I'm picturing a nose guard.
No, he was left-handed, like he'd be like a little guy.
So like a left tackle, like an 8th grade left tackle?
Maybe.
An 8th grade guard.
Sure. You keep asking me questions. I don't know if he played football. You asked me weird achievement. If you want it to be football related.
No, I don't. I just said in your life. Okay. So what place did you get in 8th grade? Bowling?
I think it was like 2nd or 3rd. I know Bo won, but I did like place.
If he got a 245, I hope to God he won. In the elite, the PBA or whatever it's called. That would beat me.
The thing that I'll say is weird because I played sports. Obviously, Nick, you were 2-time All-American in college. Never gave up a sack. And throughout this. So I'm prefacing all this because it's an athletic achievement that I was a part of, but I've been on some really, really good teams, but I was never anywhere close to being the best player on any of the teams I was on. But in high school, I was on a high school state football championship. I was on an AAU national championship in high school for baseball. Damn. And then in college, I was on a Division II national championship team at Central Missouri. And then I was with the Chiefs when they won the Super Bowl. So I've been around teams that have won championships at absolutely every level, but it blows people's minds because they know me. They're like, you are not a great athlete anywhere. I just got really lucky being on all these really good teams, which is why I preach togetherness and family and like all those things about like what's really important because this stuff does matter. I've seen it at every level that I was at, but so I take a lot of pride in, and I take it very seriously when they talk about, everybody believing in one another and kind of rooting in the same direction. Nick, I'm sure you were on teams that everybody did kind of root together. I mean, your teams were always good at K-State, but yeah, that stuff's important to me. Completely random. That's what you get when you.
I like that. See, I like that. You never know what's going to go. Hence blind nil. Or hence blind nil.
Before
what you got?
Before I go, I have to read this comment from Kyle Coffey. He said he won a cold reefer.
Oh my God.
Welcome him on the show.
I'm so sorry, Kyle, that you had to go through that.
Oh
that you had to experience that?
I couldn't do it because I've eaten refried beans off the can like room temp, not cold. Like that's like, I mean, that's like that thing will set. You could dump out, like and just how many cans, Kyle? That's the real question. What would be like the win?
I really want to know what
in the
Tucker's
yearbook
is.
too.
Oh, Tucker, I really want to know what your answer to this question is now that you had plenty of time as I rambled on about random crap.
Well, no, I was thinking about it. I won a hot dog eating contest in college.
Oh.
I think that's a weird.
Is there a video?
It's like awesome. 5 minutes. I only ate like 5 hot dogs or something like that. It's not really even that impressive. No Joey Chestnut or anything. But I did win.
You did what it takes to win on that time.
That's true, and I think a lot of people kind of mailed it in. But I like studied Joey Chestnut for I only knew like 48 hours in advance I was going to be in this hot dog eating contest. So I was like, I got to go all in and dedicate myself to this hot dog eating championship. So I did that. I also won a talent show that same year at Northwest when I was at college. So
what year was this in college?
This was my freshman year of college, 2016.
Wow. Oh my God.
2016. I always like when that happens, Tucker. I always like the subtle reminders. Because you're an old soul.
That's what I like to think. I'm wearing a Creed shirt. This tour was from before I was born. So
that is funny. I was a junior in college in 2002.
Yeah, I was born in 98, but
that's too funny.
Yeah.
I love
That's what I think.
So you won a hot dog eating contest? That was your weird achievement?
And a talent show where I did a dunk contest with a mini hoop. Actually I got one hanging up on my door right here.
Yeah, I know that. That's dunk session. Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the dunk?
I finished with the Jordan free throw line, and I did a 360 windmill for one of them, and then one of them was between the legs. But I didn't hang the door. Somebody held the hoop.
Okay.
Because we didn't. I thought about this 30 minutes before I had to be there. It was one of those things where it was a last minute idea. Everyone was singing songs or lip syncing songs.
Mm-hmm.
I said, no, I'm going to do something different. And I won. So,
but you were going to lip sync a song.
I was, and it was Too Sexy.
Right said Fred.
Yeah.
I know. I was around when that song was live.
I said,
yeah, look at this guy. He got them all.
A bad idea. Not a big deal.
4.
Great audio podcasting, by the way.
Happened.
That's
was for the YouTube.
Yeah.
For the knuckle. Yeah, that's a special. YouTube only. YouTube only. If you're listening to this, I'm not going to tell you that BJ had all 4 rings on his hand.
Not going to tell you that at all. Preston Thornton, I want to talk about this question. Who do I grab for my Chiefs for my fantasy team? Patrick Mahomes.
Jody Fortson.
Grab Patrick Mahomes.
Travis
Kelce. Jody Fortson is steal in the 6th round.
Wait, he's probably a pickup, right? He's a pickup, right? You pick him up.
He's waiver wire for sure.
Pick him up this week and every week after. Watch when he goes off for 2 touchdowns versus Arizona. Hey, mark my words. He's going to do that. Start Jody Fortson this week. 2 touchdowns.
It's plus 850 on DraftKings for anytime touchdown for Jody Fortson, and I did place a bet on that.
What does that mean? I don't gamble. So what does that mean?
It means you get really good odds. So I bet $25 to win. I think that one's you know what? I'll look it up.
It's 8.5 to 1 is what it is.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what that 850 means?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's that number expressed as a fraction or a ratio?
Yeah. I think it's $425 that I would win.
Okay.
If Jody Fortson catches a touchdown, I'll be excited for so many reasons.
We're going to go nuts at the Kingdom Bar if that happens. We're going to go absolutely nuts.
All right, Nick, I got to know what your weird thing is. It was your question.
That's true.
So,
okay. So do you want to go chronological order?
This is already good. Yes.
Okay. So the first one's called the turkey trot. So in 6th grade, I was slim. I was skinny fat, right? So I was look slim, but I really wasn't. And I grew up playing cardio or playing soccer. So my cardio was super high. So I loved doing play street hockey, whatever. They announced on school that morning, this is the Tuesday before Thanksgiving or something like that, that we're having a turkey trot out in the Colorado Middle School back area. And I'm cool. And they're and I'm all right, whatever. And there's the prize was a turkey. And I'm oh, hell yeah. If I could bring home a turkey, how cool would that be? Right? as the prize was a turkey or like a turkey trot, right? So okay, I'm gonna go and win this. And so, all right, just gonna go run this. And so I run, right? I run this race, and I'm running fast. And this guy, he's like in about 20 yards in front of me. And his last stretch, I could see the finish line, and I like full out sprint. Like I'm walking, I'm like DK Metcalf or the T-1000 from Terminator, and I jump at the end, and I didn't beat him, right? I didn't. This guy won. He won. Stephen All won the turkey trot. He did the rollerblades with 5 wheels and racing and stuff. So he's all in fit. So he won. He got the turkey, right? But they felt so bad that they went and bought me like comic books and stuff to as like a prize. And then your boy, got the credit in the yearbook for winning the turkey trot. So it's like, what's the real win, right? It's that. Get the credit in the yearbook, and I don't get a stupid frozen turkey to take home. Whatever. And then my second one was at what was it, 2-story bar next to Pizza Hut in Aggieville to the right. BJ.
2-story bar.
It had like
Aggieville.
No, I don't even know. Next to Pita Pit. It was before Pita Pit. It doesn't matter. We go there, and it was like
it was Tubby's.
I don't think it was Tubby's. So we went there, and they were like, "Hey, we're having Nick Revenant a wing eating contest. Can you join?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'd love to. Like, this is what I was put on earth to do, is to eat wings in quantity." So I ended up eating 119 wings, and I won the wing eating contest. Yes, they're like the smaller ones.
Congratulations!
Did you get time? Was there a time limit?
I didn't get shit. No, it was not a trophy. And I didn't get any recognition for that one. That's all opinion here. But here's the thing. It was only against one other dude, and he ate like 100. I know, right? How about that guy? You think you ate 100 winning?
You just reminded me of a bunch of stories from college. We should have like a stories from college outside. That's like a March. That's like a pre-free agency March.
Oh, yes. I will do that one. That's fantastic.
That's just an entire new show. Stories from college. All right, we'll move on. Has everybody got all their stories out, Tucker? Did any other new strange stories or things that you won, or just hidden talents that people don't know about?
No, I'm a pretty simple guy. Just eat a lot of food and
chug seltzers.
Hang out and chug seltzers. It's true. We got a pack waiting for me.
All right, mine's a little out there too, as well for the final blind nil. So it's not out there like that. It's nothing like yours, man. You're gonna be so disappointed now. But it's happening because high school football starting back up, and I remember where I was the other day, but they started playing. I think it was actually when I was down at P&L, Tucker, when I saw you for the Taylor Hawkins tribute. They were playing a song in the bar that we were in down at the taco joint down there, and I started playing Back in Black from AC/DC. And there's just certain songs that obviously like take you back to places, like a Kenny Chesney song. But there's like certain songs that just take you back to certain things. And when it comes to like football, what's the like quintessential football song for you? And it's probably going to be different for everybody, because when I heard Back in Black, I immediately went back to like high school football, because played at Blue Valley, we were the Blue Valley Tigers. We played at home. We were in all black. And so like Back in Black was it was the song that they played pregame of what we were going into. Welcome to the Jungle, all those Guns N' Roses songs. Tucker, you're gonna have to Google them. Okay, you figure out who Guns N' Roses is. every dude in their 30s and 40s that played high school football knows who Guns N' Roses is. It was everybody's songs. But the other song is Crazy Train from Ozzy Osbourne. For me, anybody who grew up going to Arrowhead back when the TD Pack Band and the Tony DePardo Pack Band was there, but they always played Crazy Train with this cool video screen thing going on. It was right leading up to kickoff. It was awesome. And I hear any one of those songs, it takes me right back into a football place. So the question becomes, what's a song that you could hear that brings you right back to a football place at some point in your life? And then explain why and give us a story about why it's cool. I'm trying to connect to your weird one, Nick, and I can't do it with the music, but Tucker looks severely confused for anybody who's listening to audio.
He's doing equations right now. He's doing a proof. He's doing an academic proof right now.
No. I'm just jotting everything that's coming down to my head onto this piece of paper.
I can't wait till you say like.
I'll jump you. Yeah. Then I'll jump
Drake.
ahead. I'll jump the queue. I've always hated football pregame music. All of them.
Oh, so the We Ready song that you guys came out to all the time?
All of them. Awful. And guess what? I only heard it a billion times every pregame. Oh my God.
We ready.
No. No. Willie, let's do this. No, yeah. I don't. I hate it, man. I absolutely to me, it's just because I'm in a miserable, I got to preface this by saying before any football game, I'm in a miserable headspace anyways, right? I'm nervous. I'm angry. I'm mad that I can't eat the food that I smell right now. It's just, there's people in the parking lot doing things that I have no clue what they're doing, but I imagine it was just fun, a lot more fun than playing football. But once I get the first hit, I'm good, whatever. So I'm better now. It's like, okay, I got that. It's good. But
do you want me to tell you what we were doing in the parking lot since when you were?
No, playing? I don't. I know what I was
literally in the parking lot.
I know what I do now. So yes, it's fun. It was no stress.
So that first year, the guys, sorry to jump in here real quick. I like a funny story about this. So the first year that I went to K-State, when I transferred up there, was the year that you guys won the Big 12. Okay. So it was when you guys beat Oklahoma, it was one of the greatest nights of my college life. They closed Aggieville down, and cops were riding on horseback up and down the main street in Aggieville. What? And the cops had beers in their hands, riding their horses, just walking up and down. I'll never forget sitting in the bars down there, like, oh my God, are you kidding me? But greatest night ever.
Meanwhile, we're on a bus ride home from Kansas City to Manhattan.
Yeah, we got to enjoy everything you guys accomplished. So we really appreciate you guys doing that for us.
That's awesome.
But that first year at K-State, the transfer up there was playing baseball, and it was during the fall, and they ran us 6 days a week at 6 o'clock in the morning. We were up running, and the only day that we didn't have to do anything was Sunday. So the only day we could do anything was Saturday. And so you played a lot of 11 a.m. games. We went hard during football games and tailgates. It was our one time to do something. Hold on, bring this comment up here. So there's statute of limitations. We're all good here with the Wyoder 05. RCPD has entered the chat. But yeah, that's awesome. I've never actually thanked you for what you and your teammates did in giving us a really good college experience, being very, very good at football. So thank you.
For the fan. It's a team sport. Fans support us. We support the fans. It's a circle. Shout out to Chief Ronnie Grice too, RCPD. So to answer the question thoroughly, so I've always hated the music. And I was with the Snyder, don't you know what do it? Hang time, blah 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 blah. So nothing, blah, blah. It's whatever. All these cheesy '80s songs, right? So I ignored those. Arizona was decent. St. Louis, we won 5 games in 2 years. We sucked so bad, it was miserable. And then New Orleans. So I get to New Orleans and we're riding up, and they have Jeezy put on for my city on the playlist. They have all these songs are the first time I'd ever heard these songs, and they're on this playlist. And I'm like, what is this? And you're in the massive Superdome warming up, and you're like, this song kicks ass. I've never heard this before. This is fantastic. They had some local musicians do stand up and get down. It's a song. It's national now, but in 2009 it was New Orleans local. So it's stand, and all these songs were I hear them now to this day, and I'm like, oh hell yeah, that reminds me of New Orleans warm up. So I hear Jeezy put on for my city, on for my city. I was like, damn. I was vibing for a game. I'm like, this is tight. This is really tight.
I was hoping you're going to say something completely Kenny G, something to calm yourself down. It's what's the Zero Dark 30, the movie, when they're getting ready to go in, what are you listening to? And he's you pumping up. He's Tony Robbins.
Yeah, nice. Well, yeah. Honestly, you can't be on offense. You can't be geeked up. There's no listening to Metallica before it was trance music, techno trance music for me, and jazz. That's what I listened to before the games, because I needed to calm down.
Yeah.
Chill. But yeah, but New Orleans. So like I said, I hated every music. They've ruined, AC/DC and Guns N' Roses for me from pregame music.
All
Well,
right. Tucker.
they still played a lot of AC/DC and Guns N' Roses when I played. And I think that music's almost inevitable when you talk about football games and Friday night football. You go to any football stadium right now, you'll still hear those.
I know we need new playlists, DJs. Where my DJs? Don't do it.
But the first song that I thought of that makes me think of high school football is "Till I Collapse" by Eminem. I know, BJ, that it was your walkout song. I do know that.
BJ invented it. He invented it.
I hear that.
That was like 12 years before you were in high school.
It might have been. I need to double check the facts, but
it was 2004.
Oh yeah. It was a long time. My senior year of high school, my senior year football season was 2015. So, it was released in 2002. So, yeah. Yeah, but that's the song I thought of first. Remember the Name? Do you remember that song, Fort Minor?
No.
It's 10% luck, 20% skill, 15% concentrated power of will, 5% pleasure, 15% gain.
He's not going to like that song.
100% reason to remember the name. That one obviously makes me think.
That's a good one.
Yeah, no, it's not. But like, it's
you don't
definitely reminds you of high school football.
It reminds you of football. All the songs do. I thought that song was invented for like high school because I heard it like in real life outside of a stadium. I'm like,
yeah.
I thought this was on the Jock Jams playlist CD. Like, I was just playing outside of a high school football sports game.
Sometimes I listen to it ironically, just for laughs, for giggles. But another one that I really think of, it's lots of Eminem really gets played. Tech 9 gets played a lot, especially in Kansas City.
Yeah.
When you come down here for like games like that, you still hear some Tech 9. What's the one that
he got big time locked up, right?
Red Kingdom.
Red Kingdom is going. I was trying to think of the former boxer who did a song, "Can't Be Touched" by Roy Jones
Jr.
Boy, where did I pull that one from? I don't know where I got that, but that is a very good football song. Really, if you just like search like
what would be the search?
I think you have to look up you have to look up highlights of a player in college at that time. So like if you look up Robert Griffin III highlights and you just hear those Fort Minor or anything that goes over the top. Anything by like Linkin Park is a good Friday night football song.
That would be good. What about the Jay-Z Linkin Park Numb Encore? I can't listen to either of those songs on their own, by the way. I can't.
W. Yoder. He agrees with me. Linkin Park. That's what you got to do right there. Shoot to Thrill. This is Thunder Dan 88. Give me Shoot to Thrill on the Chiefs overtime drive versus the Bills last year in the playoffs. Thunder Dan also says Frank Sinatra. That doesn't necessarily get me going.
Shoot to Thrill. I like. See that the reason I don't like. I think the reason why I love Pulp Fiction so much was because the music was original, right? And you attributed that music to Pulp Fiction. And I'll forever attribute, Jeezy to New Orleans, right? And I don't know. I have so many memories associated with any AC/DC song that I can't use it for high school football. So get new music. Like that's my PSA. Fair. That's my PSA for this sort of, we're so far from the game on Sunday. Let's get some new stadium music. Like we really need to. Like try harder, please, for me. Especially since second year high school refereeing this year in KC. So let's get some good music. I was at Lawrence a couple nights ago, and they did ASAP Ferg New Level like 8 times in a row, and I was for that. I was 100% because that's one of my favorite songs of all time.
The drop is a good one on that one. The little dog barks right before it, where they go, yeah.
And yes.
Yeah, it's a good drop.
You're right.
I don't know what you guys are talking about. So I'm just over here going,
listen, hey BJ. Listen, I think I can play any part of that song because I think it curses like right off the get-go.
I mean, Thunder Dan is bringing the heat in the chat Fortunate son.
Listen, as soon as you started talking about music, the chat really took off.
See,
I
love music. Well, favorite music, I think that's good. And like you said, who's that? Thunder Dan also have the Shoot to Thrill during the drive versus Buffalo. I think you'll hear that morning of the Super Bowl. I heard on the radio, "I've Got a Feeling" by Black Eyed Peas, and I knew right away. I was like, "We're winning tonight." I was like, I'd never felt that way before, and I'm like, "We are winning tonight!" Like 100.
That's
like
the song.
Yeah, and so I hear that song now. Like I'm like, and like the kids like change it to Hits One or blah blah. I'm like, shut your mouths! Like we're listening to this, and I won't tell them that Daddy's having a flashback. It's okay. I'm reliving a moment, kids. Away to school. But yeah,
reading through the different comments.
There's some good ones in there.
Bring on Gina's comment. I did not hear the silly analytics as to why they're going to finish last. I know that Kyle Brandt picked the Chargers to win the division, and Peter Schrager, our guy Peter, picked the Chiefs to win the division, just like they've done for the last 6 years. So
listen, our guy Matt Hamilton had a really good breakdown of Patrick Mahomes in the offense on Good Morning Football.
Yeah, you're going to see a lot of the same analysis on his weekly breakdown. He's asked me if he could use the same plays, and I was like, sure, you don't have to do more work. It's a different audience, and then he promotes it everywhere. Chiefs King sharing it all over the place. I'm like, this is going to look really familiar on Wednesday. So breaking news, everybody who's watching this live, depending upon what time the audio gets up tomorrow. But we'll have the first episode of The Breakdown with Matt Castle and Matt Hamilton sometime Wednesday afternoon / evening, depending upon how quickly Tucker gets after it.
Yeah, we're trying to schedule a show, and you guys have like 50 shows. It's amazing.
There's a lot of them.
Got a lot of content. We were about to turn it all the way up. Right now, we've been at like 10.2. We're about to just turn it all the way up to 11. Another reference that Tucker will not get because he was born 25 years after that movie came out.
I've never seen that movie either, Tucker, but I know the reference. You should. I'll send you the link.
Okay.
What's the other? We should ask the chat room now that it's hyped. Tucker's never seen Team America, and we've been talking about doing a second screen watch party as Tucker experiences Team America for the first time. And it's not exactly a movie that could come out right now. That wouldn't happen.
It's a classic. But you could, though, because using puppets, marionettes.
I'm not sure that humor could fly right now. Heck.
It's like, I don't know if this is exactly true, but like stoner comedy movies, like Pineapple Express couldn't come out today because I don't think it would be as funny as it was when it came out.
Solid point, yeah. Since marijuana is not exactly illegal as it was back in the day either.
Right.
Super bad.
Yeah. Right. So like any of those movies like that, I don't think that they'd be as funny now as if they came out. Machine Gun Kelly just tried to do. Don't get me started on Machine Gun Kelly, by the way. But he just released a stoner type comedy, and it did not play well. Probably because he's just bad at what he does. Sorry.
The best tweet I've ever seen about Machine Gun Kelly and Megan Fox is everything I've learned about Machine Gun Kelly and Megan Fox has been against my will.
My favorite tweet about Machine Gun Kelly is I don't think Machine Gun Kelly gets a lot of hate, but I don't think he gets enough.
Let's wrap. We're going to wrap this show up. If anybody in the comment section has a blind nil segment for us, we can try this since we're doing this show live. If you got a question for us, we'll all run through it very quickly.
Oh my gosh.
So the first question I see in the chat room, whether you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, wherever you're watching, send us a question. And the first one that we come through, we're going to answer. So
that could be.
I'm actually kind of scared now that I said that.
I'm not afraid. I am.
You're the one we can't see him, Nick.
That's true. Nick is literally flying blind in this blind nil.
I love it. I love that. This is true blind nil. This makes me see. We need a fourth person, and we could do a true. You know what we should do? We should play spades one time. We need to figure. I need to
just live on the show.
We'd have to figure it out. We'd have to figure it out and be like, what do I do here? What if I have this ace of spades or what's the? Yeah.
BL. We got a question from BL here, and it's saying, Actually, we had two questions. They're kind of similar. All right. BL says, how many weeks do you think it's going to take for the defense to gel? Tucker.
8.
I think it'll just be week to week. I think good teams, they're so balanced that, 1 week it'll be much like last season, right? Where the defense sort of carried the team all year. And then a couple seasons before, the offense was carrying the defense, right? So it's just this back and forth. But I love the direction of where this defense is going. That we talked about. You have physical corners, because you got to combat the AFC West and all its talents. And then, you got interior D linemen that are solid, next to Chris Jones. And then I really like Karlaftis as a backup. He's I think the linebacker core's figured it out too. So mixing in some vets and some rookies. Yeah. It'll be week to week though. It just depends.
I'm gonna say 6 weeks and be a little different, Tucker, and that's because I just pulled up the schedule. When you look at it, here are the first 6 games for the Chiefs for those who don't have the schedule memorized. Obviously, week 1 at Arizona. Then the short week against the Chargers on a big one on Thursday night. Then they're at Indianapolis, at Tampa Bay, at home against the Raiders, and then at home against the Bills. I think after that Bills game, they will have gone through the gauntlet. Not that it gets any easier after that, because then you're at San Francisco, Tennessee, Jacksonville, then at the Chargers, Rams, Bengals. The schedule's brutal. But to get through those first 6 games, they've faced 4 or 5 of the best teams in all of football at that point. And if they're not ready to go by weeks, like those rookies, if they're playing as much as we expect them to right off the bat, by 6 weeks after facing Josh Allen, Tom Brady, Justin Herbert, and obviously going up against Kyler Murray, being a different kind of athlete, that's a gauntlet of dudes, especially you're talking about the defensive backs, going up 1 week against freaking Tom Brady and his way to read defenses in week 4, and then you're facing Devontae Adams in week 5, and then Stephon Diggs in week 6. Not that everybody doesn't have dudes, but they're going to grow up a lot after those 6 games.
Those are some dudes right there.
And then what's the date of the at Tampa Bay matchup?
October 2nd. It's on Sunday Night Football.
Here's the funny thing. October 2nd in Tampa, it's still going to be hot and sticky AF, man. So those are those games like the late September, early October games that you go to like a Tampa, you go to a Miami, you go to, well, not Houston because they're indoor. You go to those 2 places, right, where they still have outdoor stadiums, and it's hot and it's muggy, and you're like, oh man, Miami sucks this year. How'd they beat these guys or whatever, back in the day? But it's that heat that you think you're out of it, right? You're in October, right? And in Kansas City, right, we're wearing jackets, it's whatever. And in Tampa, it's still hot as shit. And it's still humid. So that's why people cramping up on the sidelines. And now it's like you get those sneaky wins there. So that'll be tricking itself with just the weather.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
All right. Let's end it there before it gets even weirder, if that's even possible at this point. So we appreciate everybody who's still listening, who hung in there with us for this episode. Obviously, starting next week, we'll have a lot more football to discuss as we continue outside the trenches with Nick's blind nil outline, where we each bring a different segment to the show. We appreciate everybody for hanging out. We appreciate everybody for commenting. If you're watching this on YouTube after the fact, please like and subscribe the video and let us know in the comment section what blind nil. Give us some ideas of what we can use in the future. You bring a good one, we will use it, and we will give you credit, because that's what we do here. So
yes,
we appreciate all of you. And Nick, you got to close it out the way that you've handled this entire episode.
I just thank everyone for listening. I'm really excited about the season. I'm excited to get some game footage down, do some breakdown, some more analysis. I love the way that this show today was kind of like the funny show before, because guess what? I'm sure everyone else is sick of hearing the same shit like we are too, where it's like no real action. We're not going to break down a third preseason game, all this stuff. And I'm excited. I'm excited about this season. I think we figured out our B-sides. We figured out, our place in this world with outside the trenches. So it's going to be a good one. It's going to be a good one. Always hit us up on the Twitter. Go out, put some Five Farms Irish cream liquor into your coffee or your hot cocoa. If you're not into that, go place a bet with DraftKings. If you're not into that, Charlie Hustle has a great blend of Kansas City affiliated t-shirts. Hey, I got a Charlie Hustle shirt. Finally, I had to pay for it. I love it. I love Charlie Hustle. Support you forever. you guys for listening. We appreciate you.
I'm ending it.